there's so many different reasons that
Yes.
I think this could be a sore spot in marriage. Maybe one spouse travels for work and they're gone for a week at a time. Gosh, talk about needing to be fluid and needing to adjust. I mean, the spouse who's home has to learn how to do it without them for a week and then all of a sudden take a step back when they come home and then jump back in and then step back. I mean, that takes a lot of very intentional work. Maybe you have a different idea on disciplining children, a different idea on how to parent in general. I mean, all of those are just, those small foxes that can spoil the vine, because so quickly the enemy sees an area of weakness and is like, I'm going to capitalize on that. I'm going to make her feel like he's not willing. I'm going to make him feel like she's not willing, whatever that looks like. And so I think we could lay out every reason in the world that maybe parents aren't on the same page, but that's neither here nor there, really. We are hoping to just bring some tools to you to just make things run a little bit smoother so you can show each other a little bit more grace in the process.
Hey, welcome to the Greater Marriage Podcast. We are so glad that you joined us. My name is Dustyn. This is my wife, Heather.
Hello.
And man, we just love coming together and talking about marriage and life and the Lord. And we have actually just created some new resources that are on our website. So if you have not gone to greatermarriage.com recently or ever, man, jump on our website, greatermarriage.com, and download our resource. Sign up for our newsletter there. We always have new stuff coming out and have information. We give kind of exclusive behind the scenes look in our email and exclusive resources in there as well. We will not spam you. And so, man, we would just love to connect with you in that way. And then you could also reach out to us like that as well. You can email us. Just connect at greatermarriage.com. And we love to hear from you guys. And we'd love to hear not just what you're getting from our podcast, but what you would like to get and what you would like to hear about. And so we just appreciate y'all, our Greater Marriage family, and appreciate you guys for being with us today.
Yeah. Well, we obviously love talking about marriage, but there are definitely pieces of life that flow out of marriage, one being parenting. And so from time to time, we will dive into talking about parenting. Today, specifically, we are going to talk about this idea of maybe feeling like a single parent when actually you're married. We hear that from people sometimes, that one parent or the other feels like they are carrying much more of the load. So we want to talk about that and give you some practical tools that you can apply if maybe you are that person who feels like you're carrying the load, or maybe you've noticed that your spouse is carrying more of the load and you want to take a step forward in helping with that. We believe that today, after this episode, you will walk away encouraged and full of hope for your situation.
Yes, and if you are single or married without children right now, man, let this be an encouragement to you. Don't check out. Listen to this. Allow it to be deep-seated in your heart. I know that we have often gone back to parenting advice that we got before we were parents. And that people, that we would hear or whatever and be like, you know what, I'm going to save that. I'm going to remember that. I remember as a single man being like, you know what, hearing marriage advice and saying, I'm not married yet, but I'm going to take that to heart and I'm going to remember that. So, and if that's you and you're just tuning in and you're like, oh, well, I'm not really a parent yet, man, let this encourage you. And, so if you ever do hit that season, you can come back to this word and let it just sit in your heart, take root, and maybe bear fruit in your life at another season.
Yeah. And I would just encourage you to, parenting is hard and it does add a different dynamic to your marriage. For sure. But man, it's a lot of fun too.
Yeah, it is.
It's so encouraging. Just this week, our 6-year-old daughter, we were talking about Cinco de Mayo, and just kind of off the cuff, I asked her, hey, do you know why we celebrate Cinco de Mayo? Do you want to share her response?
I believe the response was, well, yeah, it's when the Chinese team and all of their people went to war with the other people because their team went to war and beat the other team because the other team had less players. And we're like, you mean country and people? And she's like, yes, country and people, but they beat us because they had less players.
The Chinese.
Also, we're sitting at dinner and we've been having some drug conversations, right? Marijuana is legal, and so we're just talking through, what is that and why don't we partake?
We don't want our kids to be naive.
Sure,
we want them to be equipped and ready if they hear words or phrases that maybe we don't talk about in our house. So we don't want them to be surprised by that.
For sure. So we do talk about it. So we bring it up. We're having this conversation about drugs and alcohol and what it means and what it does to your body and what it does to your mind and this and that. And I don't even know where the conversation really came from, but just this organic conversation we're having at dinner, and our middle son, Israel, who's 9, is just kind of eating casually and just goes, "Are all drugs bad?" And our 6-year-old goes, "Don't risk it, Izzy."
All in the same, I mean, back to back.
Within 20 minutes, we had the Chinese going to war with the other players, and don't risk it, Izzy, on the drug side. Hey, I appreciate her insight, though. So
yes.
we encourage Izzy not to risk it, and looks like Noah already knows that. So.
Oh, man, never a dull moment. Parenting is a whole lot of fun. But when it comes to parenting, maybe there is a spouse who feels like they are the one keeping the schedule. They are the one packing the lunches, staying up with the kids at night when they have fevers, praying over their hearts, all the things, feeling like they're just kind of in the trenches alone. And I think the enemy loves to capitalize on that.
For sure.
He loves to make us feel isolated, loves to make us feel like it can't be better, like there isn't hope on the other side, that this is just how it's always going to be. So we just have to tough it out and muster it up. And I completely disagree with all of those lies from the enemy. And so I believe that in having a real, vulnerable, honest conversation and a lot of humility in marriage, you can get to a place where even in the parenting, even if maybe mom and dad aren't able to devote the same amount of time to the child rearing and being with the kids, I believe that both still play a very vital, vital role and are both so, so needed in the home.
Kids need a mom and a dad.
Yes.
They need the love and attention and correction and leadership of both. That is why God created the family, and that is God's picture for family. And so we understand that every family looks different and that every family is going to operate differently. Heather stays home right now. I work. I travel for work a little bit, but I also have a little bit of flex in my schedule where I can be home throughout the week. So in the summer, I work from home a couple of days. And so our schedule is very fluid. It changes from time to time, and it's changed. It's been seasonal. We were in ministry for 10 years. In those seasons, there were seasons where Heather stayed home. There were seasons where she worked part-time. There were seasons where she worked full-time and overtime. and same went for me. You know, there were seasons where we were leading different parts of the church and different organizations and doing different things. And it was like, man, the busyness in our schedule and things change. And so, you know, there was a time where Heather was going through an internship program in the church, and I took on probably a lot more with the kids in the home than I do currently. And so we understand that as we communicate this, every house is going to look different. Don't compare your home and what you do or what your spouse does to anyone else.
Yes.
If that's the root of the bitterness in you, if that's the root of, well, they don't do as much as that husband does, or, you know, my wife doesn't do what that wife does, don't allow that to be a determining factor in your life. Your home should look the way that you need it to look, and it should operate the way that you need it to operate. Now,
in that season.
And no one should ever feel like a single parent. No one should ever feel like, I can't get any help with this. However, when you begin to compare your life and your home and your marriage and your parenting to someone else, that's whenever it gets, that's whenever we begin to envy others, and we are called to not do that. And so God has called you two to come together in partnership and to parent your children together as partners, however that looks. And yeah, maybe one of you is more responsible for drop off and pick up. But, you know, for me, I don't always do drop off and pick up, but I'll come home, and when the kids get home from school, I'll try to be here whenever they get home from school. If not, I'm here just a couple of hours later, and I'm loving on them and spending time with them before they go to bed. And then as soon as they go to bed, I'm jumping in and trying to clear out their lunch boxes and refill them for the next day and get waters ready and like maybe do some of the prep work. I get up early in the morning, and so I'm up and getting breakfast ready and trying my best to get everything ready for the kids to get out the door, just to make Heather's job easier. But it hasn't always been like that. I haven't always been that helpful, and we have definitely found a rhythm, but it's not perfect.
Well, there's so many different reasons that I think this could be a sore spot in marriage. You know, maybe one spouse travels for work and they're gone for a week at a time. Gosh, talk about needing to be fluid and needing to adjust. I mean, the spouse who's home has to learn how to do it without them for a week, and then all of a sudden take a step back when they come home, and then jump back in and then step back. I mean, That takes a lot of very intentional work. Maybe you have a different idea on disciplining children, a different idea on how to parent in general. I mean, all of those are just, those small foxes that can spoil the vine, because so quickly the enemy sees an area of weakness and is like, I'm going to capitalize on that. I'm going to make her feel like he's not willing. I'm going to make him feel like she's not willing, whatever that looks like. And so I think we could lay out every reason in the world that maybe parents aren't on the same page, but that's neither here nor there, really. We are hoping to just bring some tools to you to just make things run a little bit smoother, so you can show each other a little bit more grace in the process. Yeah,
absolutely. And so we do have a scripture here. So Genesis 2:18 says, "It's not good for man to be alone. I will make him a helper suitable for him." We have broken this down in other podcasts. We've talked about this. This is one of my favorite scriptures in the Bible. I don't know if you guys can hear our call coming through. Apologize. This is one of our favorite scriptures in the Bible, one of my favorite scriptures in the Bible, especially as it pertains to marriage, because the words that God uses here, he's very intentional with the words that he used. And helper fit was ezer kenegdo, and the helper is the same word that God uses to call himself our helper. It's not lesser than. It is just simply to help and to support. And God does that for us. He holds us up with his mighty right hand. He helps us, and just like he does that for us, we're called to do that for one another. Again, that is a moldable word. The way that God helps me is different than the way God helps Heather. And the way that I help Heather is going to be different than the way that you help your spouse. That's really and so we are called to help our spouse in everything that we do. And it's fit and it's molded to our person. She was a helper fit for him. She was perfectly molded for Adam. Eve was perfectly fit for him. And it probably took some time to figure that out. Yeah. And it takes time in marriage for us to figure out how to be one another's helper. But marriage was designed for partnership. It wasn't designed for role assigning. We are partners in this. Now, we do have roles, and we need to clarify those roles. And I think that it needs to be something that we are both comfortable with. Like, hey, are you good running with this? It's like, yeah, that's my thing. Like, let that be my thing, right? And I'll run with whatever that is. And if you want to step in, you have a right to step in. But I will take ownership of this thing. I will allow this to be my role. But it's not something that we throw on each other or just expect of each other. And if there are expectations there, those need to be clearly communicated so that one person isn't feeling like they're on an island. Like, if I'm doing something, I need to know that we have agreed that this is my thing to go and do, right? And whether that is, I mean, this is where like upbringing comes into play. Maybe there's trauma involved with how you were raised. Maybe your home just looked a certain type of way. And Heather and I were raised in two very different homes, two healthy homes, two great homes, but two different homes. Our dads had different roles in our homes. Our moms had different roles in our homes. And that's okay. But we have to figure out what works for us. Yeah. And it took time to figure that out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. One more verse for you, Ecclesiastes 4:9. Two are better than one. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. I think that's such a great picture of parenting, because I'm going to fall short as a mom. But knowing that you have my back, knowing that you can pick up my slack means everything in the world and gives me that much more confidence as a mother.
Right. It is funny. I feel like, obviously the Lord does this on purpose, right? He brings us into strength to one another. I feel like in the areas where I am weak in parenting, you are strong. And in the areas where you may feel like you lack, I feel like God, has prepared me for. And it's funny how we complement each other in parenting. And it hasn't always been like that. We've had to figure some things out. I think that, we've talked before. Actually, we recently did a podcast about how my natural personality is to kind of lay back. And so I think that my natural personality is to kind of let the kids run wild and not necessarily maybe be as strong of a parent as I should be, and not necessarily lead them or correct them in the way that I should. And there's times where I will let things slip or laugh things off or not deal with things, where Heather comes and says, hey, like, Heather being a stronger personality is like, we need to nip that in the bud. Like, let's take care of that. Like, we're going to discipline quick, and we're going to discipline clearly, and our kids are going to understand the like how we act in our home. And like, man, you're dead on. Like, that is an area that I had to grow in, because my parents were awesome, but my parents also gave me a pretty loose leash. And, and it's like, I probably took advantage of it. And my parents may have been a little naive at times. And so it's like, oh man, I definitely don't want to be that. But I don't want to jump on every single thing. And I don't want to, every time my kid falls down, we don't want to just be at their beckoning call. And we want them to be able to figure things out. And so I think that where we've been able to maybe help mold each other is me saying, hey, let's let them figure this one out. And then you saying, hey, maybe we should jump in here, And so I think that we've been good for one another, but it's taken time for us to figure out how to have those conversations and then where and at what point we jump in and take over.
Yeah, that's really good. Okay, so we're going to jump straight to the application because it's a little bit meaty today. So how do we make our marriage greater today? We've got a few points for you. This is where my black and white personality thrives. I love the takeaways.
Loves this section of the podcast right now.
It's like, all right, great. This is great. Like, feels good. I agree with these things, but like, I need some change now.
She's been dying for me to shut up so we can get to this section. Let's get after it. Here we go. This is the favorite part here. These are the ways to respond when you feel like you're parenting alone. So if you feel like what we're talking about, you feel alone, you feel like there's areas where it's like, man, I could really use my spouse's help here, but I don't know how to communicate it. We're going to help you, hopefully, with how to communicate that and how to respond whenever you are feeling alone.
Yeah. Okay. So this first one, then we can talk about it a little bit. Number one, so simple. Communicate. Don't complain. So good. Find a calm moment to approach your spouse and say something like, hey, can I share with you something that's been weighing on me? Hey, I'm feeling really overwhelmed. Is there any way that you could help me carry this weight? Hey, I'd love for us to be more intentional together in this area. That sounds very different than you never help pack the kids' lunches. You expect me to do everything, get them out the door in the morning, right?
Right.
And so automatically, if I'm saying that to you, you're going to be much more open to receiving it.
Yeah, for sure. When we're correcting our kids or dealing with controversy, one of the pastors at the church that we attend and a dear friend of ours and a mentor of mine, Pastor Chano Trevino, always talks about the plus minus plus method. He is the best in the world at this. And he dealt with a lot of interns and a lot of staff. They all answered to him as the assistant pastor, and he would always say, hey, you're incredible at this thing. Man, I love that you have a heart for that. We need to correct this though. The way you handled this situation was not right. And let's figure that out. Let's fix this. And then you can go on doing what God has called you to do because you're killing it. And this is great. And he uses this like, hey, I'm going to compliment you. I'm going to bring it home and bring some correction. And then I'm going to praise you out of it. Right. Like, I understand that you're not broken. I understand that you're not the issue. Let's fix this thing, and then we can get on. And because I love having you around here, you know what I mean. And so it's like with us too, it can be as simple as, hey, I love that you're jumping in and doing this in the evenings, whatever. But is there any way that you could help me do this before we go do that? I don't mind that we're doing that. Like that's great. But if you could just help me with this, then I will help you with that. Or if you can just help me get this done or do this way, then I'm happy for you to go and do that. Right? Instead of taking something away, like why you always watch the game and not help me? It's like, hey, I want to watch the game with you. Can we knock this out real quick? And then we'll get to that. Hey, I'd like to whatever, right? Whatever that is. And so kind of one of the ways that you can communicate that without just complaining about it. It's to communicate clearly to one another.
Yeah, that goes right into the next one, which is be specific about your needs. I think if we talk ethereally and just say like, I just need you to help more. It's like, great, I'm willing. What does that look like?
Heather's saying this from experience. Listen, I am dumb when it comes to understanding what you mean. No, listen, I feel like I'm a pretty intelligent guy until it's understanding what you mean when you talk like that, ethereal, right?
Well, that's dumb of me to expect you to understand if I'm talking ethereally.
I'm the worst mind reader in the world.
So this is where the black and white is important. Maybe it's like, hey, can you help with bedtime on Wednesdays? Hey, can you be the one to lead prayer before we have dinner at night? Whatever area it is, like very specific. And then it's an easy follow-up. It's like, hey, remember we talked about like you doing bedtime on Tuesdays? Oh, yeah. Let me jump in and do that. Versus this like, remember we talked about you helping? And it's like, maybe you heard.
This is what I meant by helping.
Right. And, maybe if I said that to you, then you heard helping as mowing the lawn a day sooner, or you know what I mean? Like,
well, and if you're not specific, it can very quickly come off like nagging, because you have to say it more, and you have to get more specific every time you say it. So it's like, hey, could you help? Sure, I'll help. I'll do whatever you need. It's like, hey, could you help with this? Sure, I'll help with that. Yeah, that's fine. Hey, could you also do it this way? Yeah, I can do it that way. Why are we having 3 conversations about this? Like, if you would have in the beginning said, hey, I'd really love your help on this thing this way to get it knocked out like that. And it's like, sure, I would love to. I think a lot of times it's not neglect, and it's not, the spouse is trying to disengage. It's just oversight. And it's just someone being unaware. Like, maybe your spouse doesn't realize it as much as you may think they do. It's like, how could they not see it? How could they not know? How could they not see me doing all the things? How can they not look at me and see me doing it and think I should jump in on that? But maybe, again, they were raised in a home where the roles were different. Maybe they just simply don't think about it. Maybe they're exhausted and think, oh, they've got it under control, not thinking you would like their help in a situation. So then be specific about your needs. And then from the spouse hearing the needs of their spouse, be open to the needs of your spouse. Like, it is our duty to try to meet the needs of our spouse. Now, Heather's needs are met according to God's riches and glory. And we understand that as individuals, my needs are met according to God's riches and glory. Wouldn't mind a little help around the house, though, right? Like, both of us wouldn't mind having some physical flesh needs met in whatever area that is. It's like, hey, let's still talk about these things. You don't make me complete, but man, you compliment me really well. And you compliment me a lot better if we did this thing together.
Yeah. Hey, I'm going to link in the show notes a tool that helped us a lot. We were probably a few years married, and we took a test called Leading from Your Strengths.
Oh, it's so good.
And it gives a very, very expansive overview of personality types. And so let's say I took the test, it would give this 20-page explanation of my personality, but it's not just like, this is who Heather is. This is like, this is why she processes this way. This is why she thinks this way. This is what she needs to hear from you. And so we both took the test and then studied each other's tests, and that helped. Because
let me tell you, they were exact opposites.
They were exact opposites, but it was so helpful for me to understand. Yes. Oh, he's not meaning to look past this. He's not meaning to make me feel like I'm doing things alone. And I think you were able to see,
he doesn't pay attention. That's all.
I think you were able to see, like, she's not meaning to be controlling. She feels like she has to because, whatever it is. And so I'm going to link that in the show notes because I think it is such a powerful resource that just forces that communication that is so crucial in being able to believe the best about each other and believe that we have the best intentions for each other.
Yeah, that's really good.
Okay, next one. Pray for their heart, not just their help.
Poof. That's powerful.
I love that. Pray for their heart, not just their help.
Man, that's
Sometimes the real issue isn't even the logistics that we see in the physical. Sometimes the real issue is something spiritual.
Yeah.
You want to speak to that?
Yeah. I mean, when it's a heart issue, you're not going to break through a heart issue with just communicating what you need. Like, something has to be broken, right? And something spiritually needs to break in order for the heart to be open. David prayed, Lord, take out my heart of stone and give me a heart of flesh. It takes a transplant and transformation to see heart change. And so I think that when you begin to pray for your spouse's heart, not only does it open your heart toward them, because you're coming together with God, praying for a common goal. We know that we serve a God who calls those things that be not as though they were. Mm-hmm. And so I'm going to look at my spouse and say, God, I don't see it yet, but I want to see it. I want their heart to change toward this thing. And not to get my way, but to bring glory to you and to bring a closeness in our marriage and to heal some of these areas that maybe we're struggling in. Maybe it's more than just feeling alone. Maybe it's more than just feeling like a single parent. Maybe you feel alone in your relationship or alone in your home or alone in your own bed. And there's some detachment there. And you're like, God, I need their heart to heal. I need my heart to heal so that we can get to a better spot. Instead of saying, if you would just do this, this would be so much better. If you would just help me here, we'd be much further along. No, I think maybe them helping you wouldn't fix anything because it's a deeper issue. And we have to get to the root of the issue and begin to speak to the heart of the issue. And maybe that is the heart of your spouse. And so as we begin to pray, you need to pray for your spouse's heart. and pray that maybe if there's a lack of fatherhood, that the Lord would bring father-like mentors into their life, that the Lord would bring healing for what happened to them as a child, that the Lord would bring healing between the two of you, if it's a motherhood thing, that the Lord would surround your wife with women that love, refresh, encourage, and challenge her. And so that maybe some of those parts of you can be healed and made new so that you can walk in a new way in your marriage.
Yeah, that's so good, babe. Okay, next one, release control, not responsibility. If your spouse tries and doesn't do it your way, let it go.
Can you read that one more time? Can you read that again?
I'll read a little louder for the people in the back.
Bold for you.
If your spouse tries and doesn't do it your way, let it go. Shared parenting doesn't mean it's done perfectly. It means it's done together.
Oh, that's good.
Together. We cannot expect perfection from each other. But when we're on the same team, when we're looking at even the difficulties of parenting as truly teammates in this, it's a lot easier to navigate.
Control kills partnership. We are supposed to be partners in this. And when we try to control one another, and I try to get you to do it my way, and you try to get me to do it your way, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
We need to find our way.
Yeah.
We need to find the way that we do these things. And we are, like you said, releasing control, not responsibility, right? We take responsibility for our actions. We take responsibility for our home and our kids, but also take responsibility to do it your way. And now you can have a conversation about this, and you probably, both of you need to come each other's way a little bit, right? I don't know that, I mean, we definitely do not parent today like we did 5 years ago or 10 years ago. Right? It has changed. Our parenting has adapted. Our style has adapted. The way I do things has adapted. The way you do things has changed. You've probably come my way. I've come your way. Like, we have figured out our way and are continuing to figure out our way. We're not even in the teenage years yet. So we're approaching those days quickly. And I guarantee it's going to change again. Right? And so as you adapt, as you grow, be willing to allow your spouse to function in their giftings.
Yep. All right, one more for you. Invite support without shame. So maybe this looks like getting counseling, bringing in mentors, talking to some people at church about it, reaching out to that church family. That's exactly what church community is designed for, reaching out to them, letting them help you navigate those things. You're not weak for needing help. You're wise for asking for it.
That's so good.
So you're not weak for needing help. You're wise for asking for it. So don't let the enemy shame you into thinking that you're too far gone, that you've messed up too much, that you should feel shameful for asking for help. Be encouraged and know that, I mean, the word encourages us to seek wise counsel.
Yes.
And so you are living out the word by seeking wise counsel and doing exactly what the Lord commanded us to do.
Man, that's so good. That's so good. Well, man, we love you guys, and we just appreciate you for being here. If you are struggling in this area and you just need support, man, please reach out to us. We would love to point you toward a resource or to be able to get something in your hands that may help. We would love to pray with you and for you. Again, like I said at the very beginning, go to greatermarriage.com, sign up for our newsletter, shoot us a message or an email. Please feel free to reach out to us. We're on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. And then obviously the podcast is on YouTube and Spotify and Apple or wherever you get your podcasts. So, but we love to be in community with our people and with the Greater Marriage family.
And one of the new resources on there actually is something that a husband can gift to his wife. Yeah. And so maybe this is an area that it's like, hey, we kind of need a reset. And you can download that gift for free and you can give it to your wife as just a, hey, I see you. I appreciate you. Let's do better.
Or allow it to inspire you to go and make something similar. Go and write something about your wife or have your children write something and just tell your wife that you love them and just show your appreciation for them, or your husband or your spouse, whoever that is, man, show appreciation and love for them. And I hope it blesses you guys. So thank you so much for joining us today. We love y'all, and go be great.